Hello, what's going on? How are my Outcasters doing? As you know, I am the owner and CEO of Brown Sugar Luxury, Chrissy After Dark, and the owner of the Outcast Sisters. I hope everyone is doing well in life that's watching me. Now, without further overdue, grab your wine glasses and pour your own happiness and roll up that za. So we can get straight into the conversation topics, okay? Give me 1 minute. How that was smooth. Okay, that was very smooth. The sole purpose for the podcast, for my podcast, is basically it falls under the category of real or reality, like real life situations that end up as, a benefit in a positive way from bad circumstances. So basically, life lessons and a bit of satire comedy. So if you are looking for full maturity, you may or may not get that here per se, because I am being my utmost authentic self and I'm not perfect, but I do gain knowledge and wisdom, and sometimes I laugh at pain. It all depends. So, to my outcasters, tell me why people been trying to outnumber me. Oh yeah, back me into a corner to stop my purpose and alter my destiny. But I have my own faith and personal relationship with God because my work of life may differ from everyone else's. Tell me why I was going to work on my podcast and the people backed out last minute, but they knew this in advance. It's the same thing with my show, The Outcast Sisters, and with my business launch as well. But I learned. I learned I could do bad by myself. I learned that people can really show you one face in public, and when they go home, they have a complete other, where they can have some other feelings about you or thoughts of you in the back of their mind that they will never say in public or to your face. It's always like a hidden agenda almost, or alter ego, or a duplicate almost. So I pretty much learned that, you have to vet people a little bit more. Because, see, the thing with me is I usually meet people and I'm always like a first impression kind of girl. But I've learned that that first impression can get you caught up. It can get you caught up. And when I mean caught up, like, for example, with my business, I told you I was working on my podcast and I had a guest that was supposed to come on, did not come. I had people that were supposed to do the show with me. They didn't come. They didn't do anything. They backed out last minute. And I mean, when I go into detail about this, my outcasters, please try to spare these people in the comments. But really, the other side of me doesn't want you to spare anything because these people didn't spare me. Literally, you know, kind of like it is Libra season, if you get my drift. And I'm also, in my Vedic chart, I'm a Libra rising. And I have I think Libra and my Mars. So Mars is the war planet, and Libra is definitely there. So as I was saying, I just learned that, these people needed to be vetted more. I got to know them, and over like what, 3 weeks, on the third week, they folded. They just couldn't follow through with anything. They didn't want to be there for me. They didn't want to, you know, give me encouragement in my project. They just dropped out all at once. And I get it. People have life issues. People go through things. But that's what communication is for. You never know what that person could do. I could have changed the date and all of this, but you know what? I really realized that those people were just blockages. If you really, really think about it, those people were really just blockages. People that really didn't want to see me make it. People that really didn't want my businesses or ideas to come into fruition. They didn't want them to overshadow who they are as a person, and I mean, if you're a genuine person, it shouldn't have to overshadow you that, I'm opening up businesses and projects and things like that, especially if you're supposed to be a part of it, you know? But, some people don't think like me. But I had to learn that um, they were blockages for real, because had I kept changing the date, had I kept, nagging these people, hey, are you going to do this? Hey, are you going to do this? First off, they signed up. They signed an NDA and then went behind my back and discussed things with people who did not sign an NDA, which results in them breaking the contract of the NDA. And it was not on lawful ground, but I let people have it sometimes because they don't know how to alchemize. Outcasters, they don't know how to alchemize. I alchemize almost everything negative in my life. And I try to do that because every negative circumstance has literally been turned into a positive outcome. And it's literally because I've decided to drop the burdens and to drop those blockages and those who were blocking me to do things on a whim and bet on myself. Because when you bet on yourself, you don't have to wait on anybody. You don't have to wait for somebody to go pick up their kids from school. You don't have to wait for somebody to call out of work. You don't have to wait for somebody to go pick up their za. You don't have to wait for anything. You know what you need to do. I knew what I needed to do, and I got straight to it. I'm here, aren't I? You know, a lot of people doubted me, and it's crazy because it's like back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all want me. Laugh now, cry later type of thing. Most people, they laugh now at, my ideas and my business and all these things that I've been talking about since freaking middle school, right? And they didn't believe in me. They didn't believe in me one bit, okay? People spreaded rumors, said I was crazy. Um, I live in La La Land. Um, don't hang out with her. She's a weirdo. Don't listen to her. She's mentally disturbed. All because my ideas and my thoughts and my spiritual messages were coming, you know, to me. And I was like, hey, this is a great idea. Let me tell my friend about it. Let me tell my family member about it. Let me tell my lover about it. And right when I do that, the project goes to shit. And it's like, whether they intentionally did it, which 9 times out of 10, they did. They did it intentionally. Because if I literally complete the task that they freaking told everybody to laugh at, right? They would then be on the shoe would be on the other foot, is what I'm trying to say. They will then be laughed at, and I will then be praised for all the hard work and everything that I've been putting in behind the scenes. While these people were laughing at me, downing me, spreading rumors on me, tarnishing my reputation, tarnishing my character, tarnishing who I am. But, grateful to God and to my faith and my religion, which is very different from a lot of you outcasters. Um, but this is why I call my fan base the outcasters, because I'm like an outcast. I've been feeling like an outcast for the longest. And I just learned to accept it. And I'm going to make it into an idea. It's kind of like Scarlett, for example. She's a rapper now. She went through foster care and everything. A hard journey. She pulled out of it. People used to make fun of her for the scar on her lip. Now, guess what? She's a successful rapper, successful artist, successful at almost everything that she does, okay? Because she believed in herself. And not only that, she took what everybody was making fun of her for, which is the scar on her lip, and made that a staple of who she is, even though it's something so minor. She took an insecurity, or she took something that was being highlighted, made for her embarrassment, literally made profit off of that. And she named herself Scar Lip, literally, like the scar on her lip. And I mean, I was like, this girl's a freaking marketing genius. Like, who could ever not stream that girl's music? I love Scarlett. And hey, Scarlett, if you're ever listening to me, I love your music. You're dope. And I want you to keep going, okay? Much love. And, it's just like, I'm just thinking how all the times I was isolated or forced into isolation because I've done lost friends because friends spread rumors to other friends that were lies. Okay. I've done lost certain opportunities with people that I really wanted to collaborate with because others couldn't see my vision. I was still working on it, but the other person that I wanted to work with was more well established than me. But my intention was to learn, genuinely learn from that person and collaborate. Meanwhile, the third party that brought me to meet that head honcho became jealous because they didn't know that I had these talents and gifts or ideas, but because they couldn't see it and I wasn't walking in that purpose of, oh, it's already done. Like, oh, my podcast is already here. Oh, my YouTube channel is already here. Oh, my business is already here. People looked at me like I was a joke. Like, I've had people ask me, oh yeah, you do music? Okay, well, let me hear something. Or let me see something. You sing, rap, dance, like, where's your portfolio? And I'm just looking at them like, I didn't have a portfolio, but I knew I can sing. But the thing about me is I'm shy, right? So the crazy part about it is that I tensed up, but I really realized that I didn't have anything to show for my talents and for myself outwardly, but I knew it was inside of me. But these people didn't know that. So because I was shy and they didn't know I was shy, I just had to them a mean resting B face, right? So I literally was misjudged, misunderstood, and labeled and tossed into the trash, the nearest trash. Okay, and it was quick. Trust me, it was very quick. Um, Sometimes I didn't want to believe that people would treat me like that. Sometimes I didn't want to believe that um, these are the same people that thought that they could just write me off. Like they meet you, and if you're not packaged how they imagine you to be packaged, then they automatically like toss you to the trash. Literally, they throw you to the wolves and expect anybody to rip you open and be like, yeah, oh, well, that was a lousy freaking cell phone. Nobody wants it. And then when they open up the cell phone, they find out you can FaceTime, the phone could float, the phone could pay all your bills, the phone has a bank account that literally has no limit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like certain things, kind of like don't judge a book by its cover, like, right? So that's basically what happened to me. And I feel like hopefully after not trying to prove myself to the world, but I'm trying to prove myself to me because I've been starting projects, life takes a turn. And a lot of the time, my life took a harsh turn downhill because people were collaborating with other people to destroy me. Whether it was just to lose friends, not only did I lose friends, like some people would gossip and tell lies so I can lose maybe like two or three friends, right? But the gossip and the lie was so bad and so like so terrible and so quote unquote believable to the ones that they were telling it to because they didn't know me, that not only did I lose those three or four friends, but I would lose a job too, and I would lose my support system, only support system. Um, and not only that, I've lost my home before, and with my child, I do have a son, and people didn't care. People actually laughed at me. I was actually on the Channel 7 news, and people laughed at me. They threw clothes at me from the window, laughing at me. I was crying in the rain, and I was cold with my baby in my arms, and people laughed at me. They couldn't wait to do that. I mean, people that never called me in the past 5 to 8 years were literally calling my phone, and I was confused as to when I picked up the phone, and when I answer, people are laughing at me and, oh, your place burned down, ha 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 ha. And I'm like, who is this? And they were bold enough to say who was calling. And I just thought it was weird because I was like, this person was supposed to be a friend of mine, or this person was an associate of mine or an acquaintance of mine. And they haven't called me since they actually got my number to check on me one time to see if I was okay on day-to-day life. Now that my place burned down or I lose my place to a house fire, instead of you consoling me, you're calling me, right? And you're laughing at me. And no other day have you called to check to see if I was all right. And not to mention, I had just had a baby. At that time, I had just had a baby. He was about like a year in. He was still fresh, my baby. Um, from newborn to infant, yeah. And or toddler. Yep. Yep. That's what happened to me. And it happens to me often in friendships as well, where I meet people and I think, oh yeah, we're gonna hit it off. We have mutual interest, you know. But then somewhere down the line, somebody in their network or somebody in their group gets jealous of me or feels that I'm a threat because they see that I stick out or I'm just different. And instead of them trying to see like, hey, maybe I could learn something from this girl. No, they don't do that. They see me as a public enemy number one, must it's like Terminator or John Wick when they were like, John Wick, you have been public enemy number one in the Continental and you can't come past this threshold or something like that, Like they literally is like putting out like a BP on me, like a BPA or whatever the case, you know? Like a bounty. It's like putting a bounty out on me, like, oh, everybody, if you see this girl, don't work with her, don't listen to her, write her off, mark her down as mentally disturbed or whatever lies they insert, or they throw a little truth in there and like a whole bunch of white lies, right? And the people that really rock with them, they're gonna go, oh wow, I'm so sorry to hear that that person did this and that, especially if that person flips the victim role. Like let's say they do something to trigger me and then they play like they're the victim, and then you're like, wait, but you just did this to me. I mean, I've done stuff like that before because everybody has immature days, especially when you're a kid. I've done that plenty of times when I was a kid, so maybe it's just catching up with me. I don't know, but I highly doubt it because now I'm like, I'm an adult. You know what I'm saying? So I'm 27 years old. I'm 27 years old, and literally, these people have literally like tried to destroy my life. I can't even, it's laughable because they really tried to destroy me, Outcasters. And I just was like, you can't be fucking serious. Like, these people think they can break me, and I've been through the worst, what I feel like is the worst of the worst. And I'm still going. I don't even know how I'm still going, you know. But I guess, sometimes you gotta laugh at your own pain. I cried. I cried a lot when my house burned down and I didn't have any finances to replace anything. Nothing. Everything was crisp. I was just crying for days, crying, crying. Sometimes I still do cry. And, there's probably a hater right now that's probably going to eavesdrop on my podcast and laugh. She lost her house. She lost this. Yeah, we did this. But really, it's like you're burning yourself out, and you're pathetic. And that jealousy or envy that you have for me, it's going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger because my faith is not going to dwindle no matter what you plot and plan for my life. You are not my God, and I do not have to answer to you. But I know who you have to answer to. You have to answer to your God because guess what? I knew I was not in the wrong for defending myself. And a lot of people that believed your side of the story are going to really see that you were really the problem. And sometimes another topic too. Sometimes people think, if you're trying to prove a point, you're a weirdo, you're this, you're that. No, I mean, if you got receipts, honey, it's a different story. Oh, yeah. In my Wendy Williams voice. Okay. Because if you have receipts, then so be it, you know? But If you're just talking and telling people, oh yeah, this person has mental health issues, but you don't have any documentation to prove that legally, that is defamation of character. And you are liable to be sued for running your mouth. And that is also called bullying. It's also a form of bullying, And there are adult bullies out here, you guys. Tap in. Is this mic on? Because that is a real thing, you know. And mental health in itself is an actual controversy because, well, actually, in New York City, it should be, at least. Um, this is New York City, right? And in New York City, everybody has something. Literally, everybody has something. In this work period, everybody has something, whether it's minor or whether it's major. Some people get seasonal mental health episodes. Other people just having a bad day. Maybe you just fuck with the wrong person on the wrong day, and you just poke the bear, and now you're thinking you're talking to Sally and you just answer to big Samantha. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to keep bothering people because you don't know what you're going to get, you know? Um, Also, it's like, I'm just glad I went through a lot of those things, though, even though it really broke my heart and it broke me down. A lot of stuff broke me down. People turning their backs on me, people sending monitoring spirits to watch everything that I do. So it's like, once they realize that they can't destroy you with their slander campaign or their defamation of character campaign against me or any of my outcasters, right? That's when they go ahead and they just monitor you. They just watch you. They watch you to see, okay, I did this. Now let me see how she's going to move off of that action. Or I block that way. Let me see if she's going to do exactly what I thought she was going to do. Or is she going to pivot somewhere else? Kind of thing. Clocking your moves, thinking that they're clocking your tea and they're clocking piss. Somebody like the spliff. Because, baby, these people think they're God. And this podcast is not supposed to be negative. I promise you, there's a lot of positive things that come out of conversations like this because it's a real thing. I told you in the beginning, this is like a reality podcast. Satire, comedy, laugh at my pain kind of thing, but at the same time, sympathize with the pain, feel the pain, and also understand your parents went through pain. I went through pain. You're going through pain. Everybody has different forms of pain. And some people's pain tolerance are different from yours. Some people could take that low blow. Some people can't. See, the difference between me and you, not my outcasters, but the third parties watching. The difference between me and you, I can go through certain things in my life and bounce back by the grace of God. And my faith is what kept me going. Hope, strength, inner strength, you know, and my outcasters. And if you have ever been through stuff like this or things like this, you know the type of strength it takes to bounce back. I mean, if anybody or even the people that put me in those situations were to go through what I was placed in, guess what? They would have never made it out on the other side for a Fendi fact. And that's all I got to say. Because not everybody's built like that. Not everybody's built like me or the next person. Okay? I also want to touch base on another topic that Now the girls and the Outcasters in a frenzy. Okay. Clock it. Clock that tea, baby. Is this mic on? Yes, it is. Men that allow their toxic family and friends to hinder their relationships. Can I get an amen in the back? Amen. Okay. Because this is a not enough talked about topic. There's so many times that you guys would see a couple, a guy and a woman get together, or even if it's girl on girl or woman on woman, lesbians are welcome here. LGBTQ are welcome here. Okay. No tea, no shade. Okay. Whenever you see someone getting to know another person on a romantic level, that is, right? And you start to notice that when that partner or person leaves that they're trying to date on a romantic level, the family members would put things and negative thoughts inside that person's head, the masculine or the feminine, vice versa, to go against or to treat or to mistreat that partner. And whole time, their family members don't even be happy in their relationships themselves. Whole time, family members be jealous of them. Can I get an amen? Amen. Because baby, where they do that at? But it happens often. This is what I'm saying. That's why when I tell people, okay, after they tell me, oh yeah, I wanna be in a relationship with you. Well, don't take me to meet your mama. Okay? Because those be the first toxic ones. And I'm a mama myself. Yes, 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 I am. However, not every mama has their child's best interest at heart. Some parents do though, but it depends on the type of advice that's being put out there and placed in those people's minds. Okay? Because whatever advice they receive, they are going to act on it unless they are a very wise person and they get advice from a trusted person. But sometimes you can't even trust that trusted person because at any given time, they could be like a Judas, right? Judah didn't have intentions on betraying Joseph in the beginning, right? It wasn't until Joseph had the dream and Judas instantly became jealous. And that's when they sold him into slavery with the other brothers, right? So the other brothers paired up with Judas to sell Joseph into slavery. And that was the betrayal, literally. So it's kind of like that. Like a lot of people in your family, they probably are trusted individuals, but you know, everything is going to be good until it's not good. You know what I'm saying? They could not be jealous of you. They could be all warm and loving, and then something, boom, positive happens for you, and they see in it front row God's blessing in your life, and they feel like, well, man, maybe I never, well, damn, maybe I never had that, or maybe I could never have that. Why does my child or why does my brother or sister or whatever get that? You know, and they're gonna start feeling feelings of jealousy, sometimes envy, and they didn't in the beginning they didn't feel like that, but because they saw what happened in your life, the positivity shift, now all of a sudden they want to covet what you have, or they, and if they can't covet what you have, they want you not to have it at all. You understand? So a lot of people is like that, and not just in family but friends too. There's a lot of friends that you go, oh yeah, what about my relationship this and my relationship that and da 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 da, and next thing you know, they really didn't want you and your partner together. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect now, okay? Because I've had my times, where I didn't want to see certain couples together. I mean, we do it all the time. Look at the celebrities. You know what I'm saying? When people are on TikTok or these blogs or these Instagram blog pages and stuff, people do it all the time. They go, "Oh, do you think the Kardashians' mom should stay with the Kardashian father who turned into the woman?" I forgot his name. I think it's Kris Jenner or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people judge celebrities' lives all the time, their relationships all the time. You have people being in Kanye West and Kim Kardashian's marriage when they were together. Look what's going on now with Erica Mena and Safari. People are all up in their business, like they know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? We only know what they want us to know, pretty much. We only see what they want us to see. We don't really know what be going on with them people, you know. And sometimes family get like that. You know what I'm saying? They want to be all up in your business, like they the blogs or something. They want to be all up in your business, like you the celebrity or something. Oh, but listen to me because I know and I've been through this and all this, and which is true. They could have very well experienced some things that gave them a lot of knowledge and wisdom. But sometimes that knowledge and wisdom may not be the same that's applied to your situation. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm really trying to get at is when you walk to go meet your partner, not walk, but when you go to meet your partner and family members tell them, don't mess with so and so and so. Because I don't like so and so and so and so and so is this and that and da 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 da. And next thing you know, you start taking heat. You start calling so and so out her name. You start calling so and so a this and a that when they not around in front of your family members and eventually in front of your family members' faces to please these people and let them know, like, see, I've been taking your advice. I've been treating so and so like this because you told me to. Because I wanted you to see that I take your advice. But it's not until later that they realize all of this was done out of jealousy because they couldn't have those same very well blessings as that person, as their friend or as their family member. You know, times is different. Be vigilant, be aware, be conscious, be demure, very classy, very mindful. Okay? And not only did these situations change me, but it taught me to learn to mind my freaking business. Okay? That's number one. Mind your business. If it doesn't have anything to do with me, I gotta mind my business. If somebody asks me something, I can have several choices to respond. I could stay silent, which is the most powerful, or I could say, that's none of my business, or that's a personal problem, or that has nothing to do with me. Good day. You know, or good night. Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And it also taught me to be a better observer, for sure. And it also taught me to be a better listener. Because a lot of the times when I have conversations, a lot of people say, "Oh, you're always cutting me off," which is true. I do cut not everybody off, but some people I do cut off. Not cut off as in cut them off, but like I interject a lot when I'm having a conversation, especially if I don't want the thought to leave. it also taught me to be a good listener and also taught me to be a better ghoster. Like, can we talk about the ghosting and the aftermath? Like, when you really pay more attention and observe people's actions and their words and their behaviors and stuff like that and their patterns, you begin to listen more. And when you listen more, get more information, whether it's said or not said. You're still picking up information, right? And whatever information you collect, whether it be good or bad, you can choose to ghost. And it actually makes you a better ghost because you know what? This time, when you ghost after you collected your own evidence, nobody knows what the freak just happened. They just, they just, only thing they know is that you just up and disappeared. For all they know, they probably think you got kidnapped or snatched up or something. You know, the way you ghost them after you collect all that data on them. Once you get all that, it's like a phone. Once it says data storage is full, you're fucked. And who's really paying Apple $2.99 for some more storage? You know what I'm saying? Once you maxed out, you want to get a new phone. You want to get a new SD card or something, or start clearing up space, which I recommend. And I actually started applying it to my real life, like the iPhone data usage, right? Once all your data is used up, do you want to really go back and purchase a $2.99 from the same? I love you, Apple, but I don't like Apple tendencies. You know what I'm saying? But do you really want to go back and buy the same piece of shit service when you could just go back into your phone, delete everything that does not serve you, and free up space for new things to be put in their place? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that. Like, once you observe, you listen, and then you ghost, you have all the tools that you need right there to make your decision whether you want to stay or go. You know, and as you go, new things come in your path of life, and they fill these people's purpose, or what you thought was going to be their purpose. They fill these people's places, but with a more positive purpose, if you get what I'm saying. So, with this being said, once you do that, you know, these people will be watching, they will be calling. And if they're not calling with their apologies, they will become a monitoring spirit. Okay. And monitoring spirits are just people that, you know, they watch you and they're just trying to figure you out, or they're watching you to report back to another person your movements, or they're watching you because they feel like they have imaginary beef with you, that everything that you own or have is theirs, and they feel some type of freaking way, and they're freaking entitled and stuck up and arrogant, and they need to get the freak away from you because they're filled with jealousy and envy. Those is how that's just the categories, man. I mean, I'm just being real here, you know? So when you start making new movements, it's recommended to move a little different and be more and more zen. There you go. Zen. Zen like. You know, it's different things that have changed me. You know, throughout all of this, I've changed my form of dressing. I'm a CEO now. You know, congrats to me. Woo! Thank you, Outcasters. And I've come a long way. So I've definitely started dressing more professional. Um, and not dressing like a quote unquote hoodlum, right? Or like I'm for the streets, right? There's just certain things that change. Internally, things have changed that people could not see. And I learned to allow that part of me to shine on the outside of me so people can actually see what's inside or get a glimpse, because they can't see everything, but at least to get a glimpse of what is inside. So that's just what I wanted to talk about today, you guys. I'm so thrilled. I'm so excited to have spent this time with you guys on this podcast. This is my second episode, and I'm really like shocked about it. I'm excited. And those of you who are listening, yes, this is an audio podcast. And yes, we do take callers. So if I'm live, like I'm live now, and you guys happen to call me on the Instagram hotline for the podcast, and I answer and I ask you, hey, what did you think about today's podcast topics? Have you gone through similar things? How can you relate? Or do you have something positive to say to the other fellow outcasters and viewers that are watching? And you literally can call. The number will be available on Chrissy After Dark on Instagram, where you can press call, you can dial it, and while you're listening to the podcast, we will literally record your response while we live, and it'll come up on our podcast. And check this out. That's not only thing that's cool, okay, about this. The cool thing about this is that for every participator and every caller, when you call into the podcast, guess what? Guess what? You're now engaging with me, the CEO. Okay? You're now engaging with me. You're now networking with me. And guess what? And for your dedication and your support, I'm very pleased. Guess what? You're going to get a discount on the BSL Brown Sugar Luxury robe line that I just launched. So yes, you're going to get discounts. You're not going to get anything for free now. But I definitely will give you a nice little discount, and you can enjoy it. You could get your family members something, get your friends something, get yourself something. Come on, very demure, very classy, and very mindful, okay? You're going to enjoy yourself being on my podcast. And not only that, you being a caller is not only going to get you engagement, but it's going to give you more of a view of how my podcast works, especially when we're on air. So any of you guys that definitely loves my podcast and love the work that I do, just go ahead and follow my original personal account. It's called Chrissy Ambitious on Instagram. And make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share positively on my YouTube channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is Chrissy Ambitious, and we're out. Later, Outcasters. I love you. Bye.